We are about ready to go down and put in. There's some guys in front of me. I don't know how far along they've got. But I've got the boat all cleaned up. It's all tight. It's light. My idea here is light and tight. I get through the first 16 miles. I can relax a little bit. I don't know if I'll do that today or not. I'm going to try to get behind somebody and watch them. So there'll be a little patience involved. And it will be down through the Hills Canyon. I've been wanting to do this for a long, long time. This is kind of the last hurrah of difficulty or challenges, although I got 4 dams to go through, so I don't know why I'm saying that. There we go. All lined out, all nice and tight. Shouldn't have any issues. Got a couple of people around me that have done this before. Feel good, got a good night's sleep. Need to get a little breakfast here in a minute. This is the guy right here that's gonna scout a couple of the rapids with me. And I should be in great shape. Once you're on, there's no going back, particularly in a situation on a river like this. So you just have to accept the stress and the anxiety that one carries before he does get on the water. Once you're on the water, it's just a matter of being smart and watching out, and which I do a pretty good job of. Cam accuses me of not doing so, but I do. I'm definitely going to on this trip. I've got a couple people behind me that have done this river several times. One of them a lot of times, so I'm not concerned. God, isn't this beautiful? I mean, look at this. And we're only 3 private parties. Me, a guy and his 2 daughters, and a guy and his girlfriend. That's it. I'm putting in today. The river appears to me to be pretty low, which is not a bad thing, but we'll see as time goes on. But right now it's just a nice, easy, relaxing float so far, and the stress and the anxiety is disappearing, which is a good thing. Always a lot of that. Several people tell me that this river, like most of them, is overhyped. But then again, I haven't gone through the 3s or the 4s yet either, so I shouldn't say anything. But this river is not full right now by any means. I don't know how much they fluctuate the water. I'll be on it long enough to know if they do every day. But a foot wouldn't make any difference. But it sure is pretty. There is no doubt about that. I think this is Wild Sheep Rapids, which I did not scout, and I had planned on it. I just came around the corner, and obviously it's a little more than a guide want to go through without looking at it. But fortunately, I think I picked the right spot. I went kind of down to the left, which would be the right of that big rock, and just was lucky enough and went right on down through it. Next one you can bet I'll skirt. This guy coming down here, that's why I walked down here to see how they do. They've obviously passed that couple that I was going to scout this with. This guy has been down through this several times, but they tell me you're nuts if you don't scout it. It's got to be. I can't believe I've already gone maybe 5 or 6 miles. The map's not very good, but we'll see. If it is, it's the first of 2 or 3 3s or 4s a guy needs to deal with. The next ones aren't too far, and I get through those, I'm home free. I won't have anything other than staying out of the rocks and being careful. The rocks in the water are so slick you can hardly walk on them. Now, of course, if I had my boots on that Cam gave me, which I don't have with me, that I think have spikes in them, it'd be a little bit of a different story. But I have my walking stick. But it ain't easy. Even on these rocks, it's not easy. No question, this has got to be Wild Sheep Rapids. Look at them. And now that I'm scouting the rapids after I've gone through them, which is ludicrous, I picked the right route. Couldn't have been any better. Not bragging or anything. I just got lucky. At first I was going to go to the right, which would have been a disaster. Literally. Then I was going to go to the left, and then I was going to go to the right, and I finally decided, nope, I'm going to the right. And I skirted these rocks here on this side and went right on down. So, like as I said, that's the first set one has to worry about. I think there's one or two more is all. But a guy could be in real big trouble over on the left-hand side. So this guy's going to be heading through here. He's going river left. He's got his two daughters in. They've got helmets on. I'm not sure he does, but the girls do, which is smart. So what he's going to do is come right straight down through here and go right between these two rocks. And the big concern is he doesn't get pushed in right here. He bypasses all that stuff, which I was close to doing that. So he's just about ready to hit the front of the rapids. He acts like he knows what he's doing. The girls are holding on. And here he goes. You don't want to get sideways. Now he's pulling back. He's going to go right down straight through that chute. Now turn around and go straight. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have been any better. Guy did a good job. Our midday, first day back on the river. Just went through Granite Rapids, another 4. Rather interesting. Didn't have any excuse me, didn't have a whole lot of problems other than this boat fills up with water. And it's not like a self-bailer. It doesn't just go out because there's not a lot of holes other than a few I drilled. And where you tie it down, this boat is not made, this frame is not made for this, although it's doing all right. It's just too low and too hard. It needs to be raised up about 6 inches. Anyway, I won't have any trouble selling it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But what a beautiful day. I can see why people get enamored with the Snake River. But like all rivers, it's got scenery and it's got wildlife. I saw some bear poop when I was back on the bank. I'm sure there's some sheep or mountain goats around, I hear. But it'll be a good 3 days or so is about what this will be, I think. Look at the sheep and the goats coming down to get water. These ain't pets. These are wild ones. They've been running down the hill. Cool. Good shape. Strong. Muscles. Isn't that cool? A couple seconds I'd have been right there where I could have got them getting water. That's what they were doing, coming all the way down to get water. 3 of them. Huh. Well, so far so good. This is just a beautiful float. There's no question I'm going to put in for a permit or just wait and get a cancellation and do this again. Take somebody. I'd love to take Debbie with me. This is in the dogs. I've stopped for the day. There's no reason for me to beat myself to death. I'm using a whole different set of muscles that I haven't used for a couple weeks because I've been in the kayak. So I'm a little pooped because I've had to row and maneuver and go through rapids since the minute I left. All 2s and 3s and some 4s. I've got a nice shady spot here. I'll put my tent up after it dries out. I got a nice book to read. And I am on target. I am through all the worst of it. Now it's just a matter of continuing to float the snake. 4 o'clock, so it was a good time to stop, and everything was wet. I really went through some water. So I got everything out hanged up. It'll all dry out with the wind blowing and the sun. It's probably 90 some degrees. You don't realize it down on the water. It's supposed to even be warmer tomorrow, I think. But here I'm sitting, about ready to have a cold Coke, read my river guide, and then read a little book. I mean, look at this. Does it get any better than this? Just think about it. Does it get any better than this? You'll slow down to 2 to 3 miles an hour, no iPhone, no computer, no, just no. It's one of the best words in the English language, no. So just take a look at this. Next camp spot's mine. I am pooped. The wind's come up again a little bit. It's just making it really tough. My telly hat that I've had for a long time blew off and it's sunk. Now for those of you that don't know what a telly hat is, they're made in Canada. They're quite famous. They're supposed to last a lifetime. In fact, you can put their guarantee in your will, they say, in the top of the hat. One thing they're known for is they are guaranteed not to sink. So there you go. So it's 100 degrees. The sun is starting to go down and I have no hat and no extra hat because my telly hat was guaranteed not to sink. So I'm going to have a long day and a half with no hat. I'll wrap my head up in this weather, that's for sure. But what a day. The Naha River coming into the Snake. It's just up river from where the salmon comes in here a couple miles, 3 or 4 miles. I made a hell of a lot of progress today. Probably pushed myself more than I should have, but what else have I got to do? I'm so tired I'm not even going to put my tent up. I'm just going to sleep right here. Stars will be out like crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if I wasn't down there tomorrow evening, which I shouldn't be because my rig's not going to be there till Friday at noon. Maybe she'll bring it early. If not, I'll just tidy everything up and clean everything up and see if I can't figure out and find out what's going on with these 4 dams in Washington and on the way to Lewiston. One tired boy today. There were some sheep across the way over there. I don't know if they left because I got out of the boat or if because they're skittish or they had all the water they needed. Here we go. It is Thursday the 28th. I have been on the water 1 full month plus 1 day. Now I've made a lot of headway. I average 20-25 miles a day when I've been on the water. I did 37 yesterday, which is too much. I was so tired last night, couldn't get to sleep. Finally did. Cooled down enough. Had a good bed right on the rocks, but I got a good air mattress that I bought. It's the best $67 investment I've made so far on the whole trip, including the boat. I've only got 27 miles to go. I'll probably just go the whole way if the wind doesn't come up. Relax a little bit. I got a book to finish. I can get all the gear squared away. Talk to some people about what I'm faced with between here and Lewiston to the first dam and on down if they know anything. Might get lucky and run into a dam employee over the weekend, which is what I'm hoping, someplace, somehow. I feel pretty good this morning, boy. I was tired last night, very tired. Here's where the Salmon River comes in. And it's a river that has no dams on it, free flowing. And it's probably one that I'll think about doing my next excursion. Put in all the way up at North Fork or even above that, maybe at Salmon, Idaho. It would be a 3-week trip at least. Could make it a good 3-week trip. Catch it when the steelhead are running, which would be at the end of September, I believe. And here you'd come in right here and then go on down to Hiller Bar. But it's a beautiful trip, I hear. Of course, I've been on the main salmon several times. So, that way might be a late fall, catch the steelhead, a little colder, have a few fires on the beach. And could be a really good trip. Stuck, the winds come up early today. It's only 2:21 and it is blowing too much. I can't go anywhere. It's just too much work. Only got 2.5, 3 miles to go. And I'd expend as much energy as I would in an entire day. I spent too much time up at the Castle Creek Ranch headquarters at the Forest Service owns now. They're just dying for a volunteer to stay in there and take care of things, which at some point in time I might get interested in if I could have it my way, which I think I could. There's a couple houses down here that burnt in this fire. This fire has happened since I've been on the river, 3 weeks ago. Both the only two places on the entire river that burnt, I think I'm being told, were owned by a couple guys from Bend, Oregon. Probably one of them, Steve's friend, that is the guide that they come over fishing with every year. So that'll be interesting to find out. In the meantime, I'm going to finish my book and hope the wind dies down. If not, I'll just spend the night here. Here I am. Grand Round just comes up to the right at Hiller Bar. About 3-4 days sooner than what I anticipated in my overall plan, so that's a good thing. So I am going to, my rig's here, which is just a blessing. Gives me a chance to really get squared away. So I couldn't ask for anything better. It's cooled down, cloud cover. Looks like it might rain a little bit, which would be nice. All I got to worry about is the big jet boats and the tour boats knocking my boat out in the water. I almost lost it a little bit ago. Hell, it'd be halfway to Lewiston. I'm so tired I could have never got it. So anyway, good trip. I've had a hell of a deal there. Had a flat tire and just had a hell of a time, but I'm almost squared away. Here is one of the cutest things I have ever seen in my life. Here is a doe with triplets. Here, and look at them. They're just as cute as can be. And what really rounds it off is Papa is up there in the trees with them. You don't see that very often. Normally the buck leaves them. But this is just about as cute. And of course it is in somebody's backyard. And yes, they are eating apples. And they're probably pets. But look at this. Is this not cute? And there he is up in there. He's a little 3-pointer. See him there? He's looking at me. But this is just about as cute as it gets. You'd think you were in a goddamn zoo. And here's a bunch of quail over here. But this just doesn't get any cuter than this. And triplets. Which is not uncommon. But look at him up in there. Isn't this something? Today. It's only 3 o'clock. Seems like it's 9 o'clock to me. I'm just beat. I think I'm going to stop up here pretty soon, but Jesus, 3 o'clock. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, almost 15, 16 hours to sit on the bank. Just drives me nuts. So I don't know. But I am pooped. A lot of rowing. There's lots of rapids, but there's not a lot of current between them. So you just, any little breeze just makes it tough. Like right now, I'm just sitting still. So, it'll be a tough, long day.